Please be seated. Prefect joke of the day is, what is invisible and smell like carrots? Rabbit farts.
Did that get vetted? That no. Yeah. Was it good? Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So a couple of contrasting experiences. One that I had was we were up in Whistler a couple of years ago for grad, and I walked into a coffee shop, and there was a Shawnigan grad, and as soon as she looked at me, she said, what I really miss is singing in chapel. So that was really nice to hear. Contrasting experience was recently when somebody said, why do we have to sing in chapel? So, everybody has a different idea about it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why do we sing in chapel, and why singing in chapel is good for us. Why it's good for us. So for one thing, it's good for us in terms of our health and well-being, because singing increases the oxygen that we take in. And it really does that. So this is scientifically proven that singing increases our oxygen intake and it increases our blood flow. And so singing is actually, maybe next to coffee, one of the best ways to wake up in the morning. So that's one of the things that, one of the benefits. We should actually be singing every morning when we wake up, because it would make us feel better, it would irritate our roommates, it would just be a good thing all around. When we take in more oxygen, of course, our brains get more oxygen, and what happens then? It increases our memory function, so maybe we should be singing before every test and quiz, really. Singing helps reduce stress, and again, this is not me saying this or some kind of weird theory, this is scientifically proven. Singing helps reduce stress and anxiety, so maybe we should just generally sing more in our lives. We don't sing enough, I don't think, in this culture. So let's try that out. Let's try singing. And what we're going to sing is, we're going to do a few new hymns this morning. I think I gave Mrs. Daniel a list up there, but I'm not sure we're going to keep exactly to the list. We're going to start with hymn number 19, Eternal Father, Strong to Save. So open your hymn books, don't get up yet. Eternal Father, strong to save. And we're just going to go into this. Most of us know this. It's a very singable tune. And here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to have everybody sing the first verse. And I'd like to have the second verse sung by everybody whose last name starts somewhere between A and L, right? Including L. So that's the second verse. So if your last name, raise your hand if your last name starts with A to L. Okay, so you'll sing the second verse, and of course the next verse, everyone from M to Z, raise your hand if you're M to Z. Oh yeah, so that's pretty good. And then we'll sing the last verse together. All right? Please stand.
So that was shocking. I can understand that. You haven't sung that for a long time. Some of you have never sung it. But it's one thing not to know it. It's another thing not to even bother trying. And as I was looking out there, there's a number of people who just weren't even trying. So that's unacceptable. Okay? Let's see if we can do a better job, even if it is a new hymn. These are actually Remembrance Day hymns that we're singing this morning, and we're preparing ourselves for that very important day for the school. And we carry that day off incredibly well. Part of it is that we participate wholeheartedly in it, and part of that is, of course, that we sing. You've heard me talking about strength. If you talk to alums, if you talk to some of our seniors who've been here for a few years, singing is one of our strengths. It's cool to sing, quite simply, at Shawnigan. So if you don't like that, well, that's tough. There are lots of other schools out there. We sing here, okay? So sing. And if you can't sing, try. And if you can't try, pretend. I'm joking. But everybody can try, okay? So there we go. Let's see if we can do a better job of the last verse. Ms. Daniel, can we do the last verse again? And actually sing it with a little bit of gusto? And I promise I won't interrupt for the rest of the service. Maybe.
Better. Thank you. Please be seated for a moment. So singing increases our sense of connection. It connects us to one another in a common experience. So if we don't engage in the experience, we don't experience that sense of connection, right? People sing together. People have been singing together for millennia. What singing together involves breathing together, literally. And again, there's been all kinds of experiments and science on this. It means breathing together. It means saying the same words together. So it creates a sense of community in itself. So again, it only works if we engage in it as much as we can, even if we're just pretending. So I don't know about you, but, and this is kind of following on what the headmaster said, but I know that my favorite singers are people that you get a sense that they are singing with their whole being. Do you know what I mean? Not necessarily loud, but people who put their heart and soul into their music. Can you think of people who sings like that? I know you're all thinking, but no one wants to say. But you know what I'm talking about when a singer just completely puts themselves into their music. And it's an awesome experience, especially to hear someone live who you just feel like they have nothing that they're holding back. Do you know what I'm talking about? Good. I hope you do. So that's an awesome experience. It's also an awesome experience when we have that experience of putting ourselves totally out there. It's good therapy. You know, this is part of why singing with our whole heart and soul reduces stress. It actually is therapeutic. And I don't know that we have actually experienced that a lot this year. So I'm really encouraging you, urging you to just give that a try, see what it's like. It changes the experience in this room when that happens. So let's try doing that with, again, it's not just about volume, although that's part of it. It's really about, it's about the feeling that we put out there. So let's try number 20. I'm giving Miss Daniel, O Valiant Hearts. She's like, what's number 20? O Valiant Hearts, which is another Remembrance Day hymn. A beautiful hymn, very important hymn in many ways. It's got a lot of feeling in it, of course. It's a hymn that's sung all over the world on Remembrance Day, which is just coming up. So hymn number 20, O Valiant Hearts. And we'll do this with this one. Everyone will sing the first verse. The females will sing the second verse. The men and boys will sing the third verse, and we'll all sing the final verse again. Got that? Okay, please stand. Thank you. Sit down for a minute, please. So I understand the headmaster was kind of indicating that it's a bit unfair to, urge you to sing with gusto and then give you new hymns to sing this morning. So I know you're kind of pulled in two directions, trying to hear the new hymns and trying to sing well as well. So we'll end with something we all know really well. But the last thing I would just say about the hymns is sometimes I hear different things about how people feel about the content of the hymns. And just in terms of how to think about them, because there's religious content in there, there's God language in there, of course. But all of the hymns that we sing also contain beautiful imagery and beautiful language about the things that are so important to us. Compassion, kindness, modesty, appreciation of nature, connection to one another, integrity, living simply, honesty, hope. All these things are in the hymn. So really, this is what we're singing about. We all have different kind of faith backgrounds and different ideas about ultimate reality, but that's really what we're singing about, is those really important fundamental values. So let's end with something we all know well. We're almost going to end. We're going to sing just a couple more things. We're going to end with Callan Lan, Mrs. Daniel. And again, this is a hymn we know well. So hymn number 11, if you're looking for it in there. And we'll just sing this one all together. Callan Land, hymn number 11. Please stand. Thank you. Everyone more awake now? So one more song. This one you know even better than Callan Land. And I'm going to kind of spring this on Mrs. Daniel. Someone's birthday this morning. Does anybody know a very special birthday this morning?
Mr. Fair and Mrs.
Two very important birthdays. Who's having a birthday? Let's just ask. Who's having a birthday this morning? No, don't know anybody, Mr. CB? Who is that back there? Listen, we're all over 50 back here, so we can't see. Is it your birthday? Okay, we're just going to sing happy birthday. Mr. Fair, Mr. CB. Happy birthday. Thank you all for this morning. I just want to say that, I know I'm kind of maybe not putting things in a completely positive light, but I can't tell you how when anybody mentions Shawnigan to me, I always say, you should hear these guys sing. It's such a huge benefit of this job to stand up here and listen to you sing week after week. I love it, and you're all wonderful. And I just hope you have a really great day today.
Sit down, please. So I don't want to belabor the point, but I do want to just put it in context. I lose count of how many conversations I have with alums, and it's minutes before the chapel comes up, and the chapel in all sorts of significant ways, messages, feelings, memories, etc., etc. So that's really what the Rev is talking about. It's preserving that. And you've heard me say before, like we could do just what other schools do, And we could do what other congregations do and other churches do, which is just not sing very enthusiastically. There isn't a school in the country, and I know that gathers in a chapel and sings like Shawnigan. I absolutely know that. When we had the accreditation team from the CAIS, the National Association, come and visit, that was one of the things that they were just blown away by, among a number of other things about Shawnigan Lake School. So again, it's something that we do. It's something that's become pretty special and precious for so many people, current and past, and dare I say it, future. Okay, so let's keep working at that, keep approaching that as one of Shawnigan's strengths. As you did this morning, you responded well. Thanks very much for doing that. I felt at one point, and you'll all understand this analogy, I felt the game was poised, and we could lose it or we could win it. And we just scored a really significant goal there, and the final whistle's just about to go. So I think we won the game, but it was poised for a moment there. Thanks very much.